So assalamu alaikum. This is your girl once again, Sahidat. So I'll be talking about the various visas and post-study visa, like what you should know. So when you are coming to Ireland to study, you'll be getting a stamp 2 visa. A stamp 2 visa, let's say you come to Ireland to do your master's or your higher diploma, you'll be entitled to a stamp 2 visa. So immediately you come to Ireland, you have to submit some documents and you'll be given your stamp 2. Then there's a difference. So if you come to Ireland to do higher diploma, let's say higher diploma in a tech course, higher diploma in anything, you will be entitled to only 1 year post-study visa. 1 year, okay? So after school, your school will be 1 year, then you'll be entitled to another 1 year, making 2 years for you to stay in Ireland. 2 years for you to stay in Ireland to get your work permit. But if you come to Ireland to do your masters, after doing your masters, like while studying, you get a stamp too. But immediately when you finish your masters and you pass and everything, you'll be entitled to 2 years post study visa. However, like they don't give you the 2 years like straight up. You first get 1 year, then you renew. You're entitled to again renew for another 1 year, making it 2 years. So you'll be staying in Ireland for 3 years until you get like within that 3 years, it's expected you get like a work permit if you want to continue to stay in Ireland. So I know you'll be thinking like before you can get your PR in Ireland, you need to stay in Ireland for like 5 years. PR means permanent residence. So like it means that like you are residing in Ireland. You get and there are lots of like advantages if you have your PR in Ireland. So it means that if you have a permanent residence in Ireland, if you give birth in Ireland, I think like your baby like can be an Irish citizen if I'm correct. Anyway, for you need 5 years stay in Ireland. However, you should know while your stamp 2 and your stamp 1G does not count to your 5 years. So while you are studying, you stayed for 1 year, 1 year masters, then your stamp 1G is your 2 years they are given after you finish studying is not counted. So it's until you get your work permit that is counted. So when you get your work permit, that's when they start counting like your 5 years residence. So when you are renewing, I told you that like after sorry, I'm holding my camera with one hand. So I told you that after you get your stamp 2 for your study visa, like for your student visa, when you finish studying, you finish studying, you apply for stamp 1G. 1G is graduate visa or post study visa. So when you're applying, you usually pay like 300 euros, okay? 300 euros. And when you want to renew again your stamp 1G, you pay your 300 euros, okay? And on stamp 1G, you're allowed to work full time. 40 hours, you're allowed to work, just that you're not allowed to do business, okay? When you have your permanent residence, you're allowed to, that is a stamp 4, you're allowed to do business, okay? So now it means that after you finish studying, you can actually process. If you see a work that would that would sponsor you, like sponsor your work permit, then you don't need to do stamp 1G. You can go straight up to you can go straight up to get your work permit. Okay? So what else? So there's something called a stamp 1. A stamp 1 is a critical skill. Let's say you're in a tech field, or you're a nurse, you're in the health field. Like there's some critical skill job that are needed in every country. So in Ireland, there's some critical skill job. Just need to type critical skill job in Ireland. So it means that like is a job that like they're willing to like like is needed in that country. So let's say they need something like, I think social work is part of a critical skill job. Yes, it is actually in Ireland. So let's say you're a social worker. That means when you're working as a social worker in Ireland, when you apply, you can apply under critical skill and they'll give you a stamp one. And when they give you a stamp one, it means that after 2 years of working as a social worker in Ireland, you would be able to get your permanent resident because it's a skill needed in Ireland, and obviously they want to retain you. So you get your permanent resident. So that's the advantage of that one. So permanent residence is stamp 4. Then after a stamp 4, there's a stamp 5. So a stamp 5 is for those like naturalization. So those are those people that are permitted to stay in Ireland without condition to time. Like it doesn't set a particular time that, oh, until 1 year, 2 years. No. The people that just want to stay in Ireland but they don't necessarily want to get maybe the citizen, they don't want to be necessarily like Irish citizen. So a stamp 6 is like, obviously when you get stamp 6, you already know you're a citizen of Ireland. So that is it. So let's talk about your work sponsorship. After you study 1 year, let's say you do your masters, or after you study 1 year and you do your post study visa, I would say like for work sponsorship now, before, there are some criteria you need to meet. So there are some jobs that are eligible, like there's eligible lists of occupation that are entitled to work sponsorship, and there are some that some work that are ineligible for work sponsorship. So you would have to read about that. And obviously you should know that tech and health field is obviously not there, like for the like is eligible for work sponsorship. Then also there's also this requirement that your company must have 50% European before they can sponsor you. It means that like foreigners should not be more than 50% in that company, unless they won't be eligible for, they won't meet the criteria. It means that like they want the company to have at least 50% Europeans for them to be eligible to sponsor a person. Okay. Then also there's the health field, especially for carers. That is healthcare assistants working in, let's say, the private, in a nursing home or so. So for you to get work sponsorship in a company, you must be earning at least 30,000 euros per annum. That means per year. However, as a healthcare worker in a nursing home, you can earn 27,000 euros. And also, I think you meet the critical skill job. So that's why you see people going into the health field. But that doesn't mean you should rush to it. Like there's some other critical skill, and also you can also be qualified for general work permit. I hope I'm not rambling here. Hey Lord. I hope I'm not rambling. I hope you are understanding my gist. It's, so all in all, there are a lot of things to look at. Should I summarize? In summary, when you come to Ireland, you will get a visa called stamp 2. After stamp 2, you would get a stamp 1G, a graduate visa. Before your graduate visa ends, your post-study visa, that is also called a post-study visa, you should try as much as possible, if you want to stay in the country, to get a work permit. And there are certain criteria you must meet for you to get a work permit. You can read up on it. I say your company must have 50% European, you must be earning up to 30,000 euros, you must be under the eligible list, and if your job is under a critical skill, thumbs up for you. Then what did I say? 300 euros is for renewal of sponsorship. For visa, you usually pay 300 euros to renew your visa. And after school, any visa you get, you're allowed to work full time. Thumbs up here. Then also, when you get your whenever you get your permanent resident, it means you're allowed to do business. okay? But on a post-study visa, you are not allowed to do business. Listen, you're not allowed to do business. And also, the years of your post-study visa does not count towards your permanent residence. Towards the 5 years count for you to get a permanent residence. Okay, I hope like you get the gist. If you have any question, you know how we do it. Like drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, like, you know. So assalamu alaikum. And if you have anything you want me to talk about, like, let me know, and I would touch up on the topic if I can do it justice. Ta ta.